right. Welcome back to the Jenaya Talks Caps podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. I've got to be honest, we are here obviously to talk about our Washington Capitals, but as someone who is also a Toronto Blue Jays fan, I am in absolute agony here this morning, Gil. Really, I am. So we're recording this on Sunday morning. So the World Series game just happened last night. And so, yeah, with my Blue Jays having just lost that World Series in like the most heartbreaking fashion that you can possibly imagine. Yeah, I am in one today. My coffee here, heavily spiked with Bailey's. I'm liable to cry again at any moment here, but we are going to get through this. And that is just one reason why I have the brilliant Gil of the Powerplay Point podcast here with me today, is to, yeah, I basically, honestly, I asked him to come on to help my sorry ass get through this one because I am in one today. So, Gil, what is up, my guy? Why don't you introduce yourself for anyone who might be a first-time listener or might not know who you are? Did you watch this ball game last night? And then we will get right into our Capitals.
Well, I watched I first watched a phrase I like to use, needlessly exciting conclusion to the Caps game, all 65 plus minutes of that. I was sorely tempted at times to turn over to the baseball game because it was far more exciting and pleasing to watch, except for the end, as it turned out. But no, I stayed, and I don't know if I regret it. We'll talk about that game later, I'm sure. But yes, I did see the last I want to say 4 innings, four and a half innings. And well, okay, a little perspective. I'm in the DMV, closer to Baltimore, Maryland. So I've grown up an Orioles fan. So at first, when the MLB playoffs started, it's a little indifferent, to be honest, because fellow AL East team, okay, fine. But this team, something about this team captured my imagination. I think captured a lot of people's imaginations. They were the ultimate underdog, and I think things got rolling when they beat the Yankees, and everybody was like, you know what? We got something here. This is a team worth getting behind. And of course, you had the big bad Dodgers with their ingloriously inflated payroll and all of their superstars. So I was like, okay, this is a nice matchup. Nobody was giving the Jays a chance. And then 6 games later, they're on the brink of taking it. And then we there's that marathon game and the last night's game, and all the way up to when Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit that double in the 10th inning. I was believing. I was a believer. And then I don't know, just off a cliff heartbreak.
They sucked me in, man. Like I'm a person who like hockey is my sport for sure, but I did play baseball like since I was like 3 years old. You know, I played at a high level. Like I'm good at baseball and I understand baseball. I'm not a person who can like I can't get into the MLB for like I can't strap in for 162 regular season games, you know? So I kind of like I tune in closer to the end of the regular season if the Blue Jays are good, if they're going to make the playoffs. So yeah, this season, man, they really sucked me in. Like they got my attention. They, you know, I really, really, really honestly liked this team. Like you said, like massive underdog, and they just kept finding ways to do it. They actually reminded me a lot of our Capitals last year. Like the way that they got through that season and how nobody thought that they were going to be anything and everybody was doubting them the whole year. And then they win the division, they win the East, like all the so many similarities, right? So yeah, they sucked me in, and then what can you say? I mean, game six, a ball gets stuck underneath the like, God, I can't even, you know, like we are gonna see these images stuck in our nightmares from now until the end of time. Yeah, a ball gets stuck in game six. That was like it's an inside the park home run essentially for Addison Barger that gets called back. So that would have tied the game there. And then game seven, like anybody who watched it knows, like it was just, I mean, there was a play at home plate that was like just I'm still not convinced he wasn't safe, to be honest with you. I don't want to be that guy, but it was really close. Let's just say that they reviewed it for half a second. Seemed like they didn't even look at it, and call him out. And then yeah, we had like Ernie Clement hits a ball over everybody's head in the outfield in the bottom of the ninth with the bases loaded, like it's about to drive in the winning run. These two outfielders for the Dodgers crash into each other essentially, and he somehow still catches the ball. I just wanted to die, to be honest with you. And then we go to extra innings, and they ultimately lose it. So it was brutal. And yes, Game 7, Toronto, ha ha ha. Like that's a very easy joke to make, but very unfair to the Blue Jays, actually, to be honest with you, as they play absolutely nothing like the Toronto Maple Leafs of the NHL. So, not a great comparison there. But yeah, it was a heartbreaker. And so, like I said, I am in one today. So thank you, Gil, so much for joining me today. I don't think I would have gotten through this one myself. And just a quick note as well for those who are watching this in video version on the YouTube channel, wanted to mention this as well. Anyone who might be looking for the post-game reaction video for the Caps game in Buffalo last night, the post-game reaction video for that game is going to be up for you guys here on the YouTube channel soon as well. I mean, yeah, like I mentioned, like just a really, really gut-wrenching couple of days for me as a sports fan. Absolutely not fun at all. And so you will hopefully excuse the reaction video for that one being a tad late, as that game in Buffalo unfortunately did take place on the same godforsaken night that my Blue Jays lost the World Series to the LA Dodgers. And so yeah, I just needed a minute, to be honest with you, to decompress. So I figured we'd do the podcast first here. We talk about our feelings, 4 game losing streak for the Washington Capitals, so we can get it all out here. And then I'll record that post game reaction video later. So thank you to everyone watching on YouTube, the video version, and thank you to all of our audio listeners as well for tuning in. But yeah, Gil, let's dive right into Capitals talk here now, because certainly there is lots to talk about. And I mean, like, where do we want to start here? Like the Caps now, like I said, they've lost 4 games in a row. Injuries are starting to pile up here for this team. So where do you want to go with this thing first? Like, I'll just give you the floor here for a minute. Just tell us what you're seeing out of this team right now.
Well, before I begin, I just want to apologize. I'm not used to being put in the role of emotional support American. So, um, if I fail at that, my apologies to your loyal listeners. So with that out of the way, yeah, no, not very much to like from our Caps, low these last 4 games. Next to no offense. You had one game where they didn't score a goal at all. No, yes, they did in the wrong net. Um, but other than that, yeah, just abysmal. Most of that time, their defense, which has been good for the majority of the year, showed up, except for when they got a lead. And that is probably the thing that is upsetting me the most. The times where they've had the lead, had the game, had the ability, had the opportunity anyway to put the game away, they didn't. Not couldn't, didn't. Because the opportunity was right in front of them, and that's probably what's upsetting to me at the very most. Because even with the injuries, this team has enough talent to at least be in the top 3 in the Metro, and they're almost at the bottom end of things. And yeah, we're 10 games in. No, it's not time to panic, but it's not looking very good right now.
Yeah, no, it's not for sure. For those who missed it this past week, we'll just quickly kind of go over the games here. Just pulling it up here. Yeah, it's a 4 game losing streak. Obviously, the one last night being in a shootout to the Buffalo Sabres. I just, you know, shootout or no shootout, like I don't want to lose to the Buffalo Sabres. I'm sorry. Like I know they're playing a little bit better recently, but like if you're in a 3 game, or like you're already in a 3 game losing streak, like to me that's a game that you've got to win. Especially like Dylan Strome came back last night. He scores like almost right away. To get them started off on the right foot. Like I would just really want to see them get the 2 points out of that one. I know shootouts are obviously not their forte. Everybody knows that ever since, like, no more TJ Oshie, no more Evgeny Kuznetsov, no more Nicholas Backstrom. Those were the 3 guys who obviously used to shoot 1, 2, 3 for the Caps. But my point is, I don't want to see that game get to a shootout. And we'll talk about how it got there. But yeah, I mean, they started it off just an ugly, 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 ugly loss to the Ottawa Senators. 7-1. They dropped that one on home ice. That was maybe the worst game that I've ever seen the Washington Capitals play, at least in many, many, many years. I mean, they get outshot 34-13 by the Ottawa Senators on home ice. Like I said, that's what kills you. Like, was this the game that you went to? Remind me. Which one was?
No, the game that I went to was the one before last against the Islanders, Halloween night.
Okay.
Uh, um, yeah, that was the game I was at.
Okay. Thank God you were not at this one. So, not that the Islanders one was much better, but it wasn't 7-1. So yeah, 7-1 loss to the Ottawa Senators. And then they go to Dallas. They lose 1-0 in Dallas in a game which you alluded to. Like they scored the only goal of the game, but they scored it for the Dallas Stars into their own net. On a power play for the Dallas Stars, Martin Ferravari, I think it was, right?
It was.
I went to block the pass, deflects it into his own net, unfortunately. And the Caps can't come up with any goals. They hit, I believe, 3 or 4 posts and crossbars in that game. But yeah, they ultimately can't bury anything. So they lose 1-0 in that one. And then we have a few days off again. I know you love that with the schedule where it's like multiple extra days off and then you get the back to back and then you have multiple extra days off again and then you go play another back to back. Great stuff by the NHL. But yeah, so they have a few days off again. And then Halloween night, they lose 3-1 to the New York Islanders on home ice. The goal at the end, obviously, being an empty net goal by Matthew Barzal. But yeah, 3-1, another loss. Maybe I'll let you just talk about this one a bit since you were there. What was the vibe in the building there?
The vibe was okay. They knew they were coming off a kind of a poorly played game offensively, so it was hopeful but tense. And then they led in shots after the first period, so you knew something was going to happen, and then something did happen. Tom Wilson gets the near empty net goal on a great play. And you think they're rolling, and then it just felt like they took their foot off the gas again. The shots weren't coming. They were trying to do too much. It was way too much passing. And then everything just started to go downhill. There was the goal back, and then there was the shorthanded goal, and then there was the missed challenge again. And then there was another goal, and then the empty net goal sealed it. And it just I just felt like after Tom Wilson scored his goal, everything just stopped. Is what it looked like to me.
Yeah, I would agree. Like you said, they took their foot off the gas again, frankly. I mean, what were the shots in the first period? I know they outshot them by a lot in the first period. It
It
was
was something like 14-3. I would have to look it up, but yeah, it was double digit shots
I
for
just
our side, double digit to single digit, I'm sure.
yeah, I just
Uh,
grabbed it here. They must have adjusted it a bit after the game, but yeah, still it was 13-6.
13-6, yeah. And then yeah, you look at the shots by period, yeah, total reversal. 10-6 and then 7-4. So
Yeah, they end up being even
yeah.
at the end of the
Yeah.
game. So, like you said, they take their foot off the gas there. They drop that one. And then obviously last night, the loss to the Buffalo Sabres in the shootout. I don't know. It's just like when they dropped that game to the Ottawa Senators 7-1, I went on to do the post-game reaction video after the game, and to me at that point that was an anomaly, like that was an aberration. So I was, and I believe I even said that in the video. I was like, because they've played great defense for most of the season up until that point. They've been leading the league in goals against per game. They're not giving up anything at even strength. Most of the goals that they have given up had been on the penalty kill up until that point. So like they really had not given up anything to other teams offensively, and certainly not at 5-on-5 again up until that point. Like I said, leading the league in goals against, leading the league by a wide margin in goals against at 5-on-5. And so they dropped that one 7-1 to the Ottawa Senators. And I honestly wasn't that concerned about it because I was like, everybody has a bad night. But now we're kind of spiraling here a little bit, even though like every loss has kind of been very different. Like you go from a 7-1 loss and then you go lose in Dallas 1-0 on the road in a game where you score the other team's only goal for them. So again, they didn't give up anything, but now we're starting to see signs of the puck not going in the net for us, right? One goal against the Senators, none against the Dallas Stars. And even then I was kind of like, it's Dallas. Like we never win in Dallas, it feels like. So to me, that game could almost again kind of be put to the side, like, oh, we hit, four posts or crossbars or whatever it was. We scored their only goal for them. We didn't give them anything. Like you could kind of push that one aside again. But now we move in to the rest of the week and we drop two more on this back to back. So now like we're really starting to see this losing streak pick up a little bit of steam here. And I know we'll talk about the coaches' challenges because that's something to discuss for sure. But I think the main thing that I'm seeing from fans right now is I'm seeing a lot of people really concerned about a lack of goals right now for this team. And while I too have certainly been frustrated by it because let's be honest, goals are fun, right? You want to see your team score goals. I'm not yet overly concerned about it, and the reason being because I just want to rip off some stats here for you. I got these together here for this show today because yeah, I mean like they've been top three in the entire NHL in expected goals for at 5-on-5 all season here. Whereas they are third in the entire NHL in goals scored below expected. So that's a really interesting one because that's basically just like a fancy analytical way of saying that they're generating a ton of good scoring chances, but they just aren't going in for them yet. So their expected goals for right now at 5-on-5 is 31.02 goals, which is good enough for third in the entire National Hockey League. But then their actual goals for at 5-on-5 is 22. So that is a massive discrepancy of 9.02 goals below expected through just 12 games played. So that's a huge, huge number for 12 games played. They're basically missing a goal per game that hasn't gone in the net for them. So you would only assume that that will not last. It should not last over the course of a full season. So that's the good news. And a big part of that discrepancy has been that the Caps so far this season have hit a league leading 19 posts and crossbars. So that is absolutely brutal. Um, yeah, I mean, we alluded to it, like three or four of them in that game in Dallas where they got shut out. I believe they hit two more last night as well, right? So yeah, league leading 19 posts and crossbars. So certainly that is probably the biggest contributor right now to that discrepancy in their expected goals for versus their actual goals for. So to me, like, yeah, I mean, I'm not overly concerned about the 5-on-5 offense at all, but what I am concerned about, and I know you know where I'm going with this because I've talked about it at length already. They're absolutely dreadful power play. Dreadful. I just I've run out of words to describe it honestly. Like, I mean, that's what I'm concerned about. That is what I am ringing alarm bells about and saying that they have got to figure this out is the power play because Spencer Carberry, Tom Wilson, a couple of the other guys, they've both alluded to it now in their post-game press conferences recently. Like the power play literally at this point, it's costing them games. It's costing them points in the standings. Because they're losing a lot of these games by one goal, or like last night they lose in the shootout. They need that extra goal from the power play to get these wins and these extra points in the standings, and right now they're not getting it. So yeah, I mean, Gil, why don't you? I'm going to go on a rant here, but why don't you give me some of your thoughts on the power play? Tell me what you've seen out there and just why it is not working at all right now.
Well, not to fan the flames even more, but this is hardly the first time the Caps have had problems with getting the power play together. It wasn't last year, but I'm pretty sure it was the year before that, where for a good chunk of the season they were in the bottom third until they picked it up. That may have, now that I think about it, it may have been last season. I don't know. It was very recent though, within the last two seasons where they had an extremely slow start. So this is sadly nothing new.
It
Um,
was last season. I think you're right.
yeah, so it's nothing new, and that alone should be, should set off a lot of alarm bells for some. But I guess it's just you can attribute it to a slow start, but I don't know. We are approaching the the comedic definition of insanity at this point because I do not see them trying much different. Maybe the personnel gets shifted in and out. I've seen Ryan Leonard take a few shifts on PP1. I've seen Protus in and out, but it seems like maybe they're trying a little bit of change, but still over relying on the same faces, the same people over and over again, the same plays, the same direction. Maybe the intensity gets ramped up every now and again, but really not much different, and that really bothers me because it kind of screams that, oh, we'll just keep doing what we normally do, and there's no problem with that, even though the results say otherwise. That part of it really bothers me, and they can go on television all they want and scream that they're aware of it, but the fact that they're not making much in terms of actual changes that even the casual fan can see is really stunning and annoying to me. You would think if they're that self-aware about it, then you would do something really really radical to jumpstart it, and I'm not seeing that. So that's the big thing, and I can't remember who it was. It might have been Spencer Carberry. One of them even pointed it out to the media using the phrase "momentum killer" was the phrase that was used. And so again, if you're that self-aware, you've got to do something different, something. And I don't know, maybe we'll see it in the coming games, but something has to give here. Something has to change. And I'm I don't know if this is something we're going to end up talking about, but maybe a major personnel change. I'm going to throw that hint out there. If you want to open that Pandora's box, Jenaya, I'll let you do it since it's your show. But um, that's been talked about, I'm sure. But yeah, that's easily the most disappointing part of their game is a power play.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, Spencer Carberry said it does. It kills their momentum especially on home ice because the crowd is just like, "Are you guys serious? Like you can't even get into the zone?" Like they're not generating anything. It's not like I thought at the beginning of this season, and the numbers backed me up on this. Like at the beginning, the very early portions of the season, they actually were generating chances on the power play. They just weren't going in. They were generating a lot of chances and they were not getting the goals that they should have gotten from that. Now it's like they've just gotten like so down on themselves about it. It seems like they're just kind of they get a power play and they're almost like hanging their heads, like, oh fuck, here we go again. Like almost like they don't even want to go out there to try it. Like they
Uh,
just
Planning to fail. That's what it looks like.
yeah, like they're just they don't even want to attempt it because they're just like, oh man, like everybody's gonna be, kind of booing again. And I mean, and the fans, like to be honest, they have a right to boo. They paid for the tickets, and the players on the team would tell you that too. Like the fans can do whatever they want. They pay money for those tickets. They come to see a good game. They come to see goals. They're not getting any. Alexei Protas actually mentioned that in his post game the other day. He actually apologized to the fans for the team's performance and lack of scoring. I love seeing that from Big Pro. And then he goes out and scores like 2 minutes into the next game. Love it. But yeah, I mean, it's just like fans are really starting to get frustrated. I think with the team as a whole a little bit, but like specifically really a lot of the vitriol and anger is directed towards the power play for sure, and rightfully so. 0 for 4 again last night. Again, if they get a goal there, they win that game, right? So again, it's just you're not getting They get 3 goals at 5-on-5, and they don't get the extra goal that they need on the power play again. So they go on and they end up losing in the shootout. So it's costing them points every night right now. And yeah, to me, it's just like you said, it's not enough changes personnel wise. Like the other night, they finally threw out there for a shift on the first unit. Actually, I saw the first unit that they put out there. It was like several young guys. Like it was like Hendrix Lapierre, Alexei Protas, and Connor McMichael, I think. And then they put Ryan Leonard out as well. But that was the first time that we've really seen that. Like mostly it's the same guys over the boards every single time. And they're just not getting anything done. And to me, it's personnel, but it's also like I'm not seeing any different like once they get into the zone, yes, they're trying to mix it up a little bit. Like they have Ovechkin's moving around and they have him going over to the right side and coming back and switching around with Carlson or whoever else and Chikrin, what have you. So once they're in the zone, you can see that they're trying a few different things. But to me, it's the zone entries that are absolutely killing them. They cannot get into the zone. Like they can't, they spend almost the entire power play in their own end or in the neutral zone trying to get into the zone. And they're not trying anything different there, Gil.
It's the same zone entry pattern over and over and over again. And they get stopped, turn the puck. Stop me if you've seen this before. Gain the zone, maybe 4 feet into the zone, hold, stop, stay on the wing, try to move the puck, turn it over, lose it. Blather, rinse, repeat. That is, you could pretty much describe the first 35 seconds of any Washington Capitals power play just like that. That's exactly how it goes. And again, they do absolutely nothing to change that. So basic, so simple a thing to tweak, and they do the same thing every time, and it gets them in trouble. And I I mean, they gave up the one shorthanded goal. I guess we should be thankful it hasn't been more shorthanded goals the way they've turned the puck over on the power play. So I guess that's something to be thankful for. But my gosh, something really has to change here.
It's gotten to the point with the zone entries being so horrendous that like when they come out to start the power play, if they lose that first initial face off in the offensive zone when the power play starts, I'm up. I'm like, time to go to the kitchen, time to get a snack, time to get a drink, whatever, because they're not getting back in the zone, Gil. I know that. So it's time to go to the bathroom. It's time to do whatever you got to need to do because there's just nothing going to happen for the next 2 minutes. It's that bad. And they're just like, they're not coming with any speed to get into the zone. It's mind boggling. And to me, like, yes, change the personnel, all that, but like to me, the coaching staff has to start answering a few questions specifically about the power play because it's to me, like, I don't know if there's something I'm not seeing, but like, like I've played hockey my whole life. Like, I understand what's going on a power play, and I'm not seeing anything different. I don't see anything different on these zone entries that they've changed from right now going all the way back until the beginning of last season. So to me, that's when you're not getting into the zone this frequently, that's unacceptable. So I want to hear from somebody. I want to know why they're not changing anything. I want to know why we keep trotting the same people out there. Like we have other guys now too. That's the thing. Like we keep trotting out John Carlson I don't know if I know where you were going with it. You were gonna talk about Ovechkin, and we'll get to that. But like to me, I said to someone the other night, I cannot recall on a single power play all season someone actually getting a puck over to Alex Ovechkin in his wheelhouse all season. Like I haven't seen a single one-timer from him from that spot that we were so accustomed to for so many years. Nobody's getting him the puck over there. He has almost no shot attempts on the power play. He doesn't touch the puck. It never gets to him. So yes, people can complain about Ovechkin, and I'll do some of that too, because I think he's had a really slow start to the season. I think there's reasons for that. But I don't want to totally excuse it. But yeah, to me, like, how much can you complain when the guy is never touching the puck? Like, nobody's getting him the puck. And it's mostly Carlson at the top. And I'm starting to get frustrated because it's not that like I don't appreciate everything that John Carlson does for this team. I think he's still a really, really, really good player. But just specifically on the power play, I'm like, try something different. Like we have other guys. We have Jacob Chikrin now. We have normally when he's healthy, Rasmus Sandin. You can put a forward up top. Some teams go with the five forwards. Like, yeah, you might give up a shorthanded goal. Try something. Try something. Like this is insanity, like you said, to just keep going like this.
Well, the key to several keys to a good power play that I've always seen, and mind you, I've been watching hockey for a long time, but even so, a big body with hands in front is always good to have. Gee, little wonder why Tom Wilson far and away leads the team in power play goals and goals in general. But you need to have a big shot from the point. We know John Carlson can deliver that. We know Jacob Chicken can deliver that. We just don't see it. It's the same play over and over again. Put it in the corner. Strome plays a two-man game along the half boards. They try and sneak it to the bumper, but they don't really, and then they play with it at the point, and then they turn it over. It's the same thing over and over again. I've seen it so many times, it's etched in my brain. I'm literally in my mind's eye seeing that over and over again. Even now, talking to you because it's been such a horrid failure so far. I I mean, I don't know. I'm not the coach. I'm not paid to coach the team, but if it's that obvious, you're right. They need to start answering questions. If it's that obvious that they need to change something, I wonder why they don't.
Yeah, and like it was um I mean last season too, like you said, the power play went through points like this where it just could not buy a goal for any amount of money. Like it was just, and last season people were wondering like why is Alexei Protas never on the power play? That was a change that they never made. And to Spencer Carberry's credit, he did explain at the beginning of this season why he didn't use Protas on the power play last season. It was to do with he wanted to like he's such a good 5-on-5 player and such a good penalty killer that he wanted his minutes to go to that, and he wanted him to be fresh for those scenarios because he's so good at 5-on-5 and on the penalty and on the penalty kill. So that makes sense to me, and I appreciate that when you explain it to us why you weren't using him. Now they're using him, which I love to see because obviously he's a great player. But yeah, it's like you said, it's the same. Like you're talking about how you can just replay it in your head. I'm doing that right now. Like it's just if they're in the zone, it's let's piss around and play catch for 30 seconds between Carlson and Strome, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until somebody pressures them and they lose the puck and then it's out of the zone. Then we can't get back in. And then the power play is over. It's every time. And they're not, like you said, they're not getting the puck to the bumper position for any good looks there. They're not getting the puck over to Ovechkin for any good looks that he's just standing there for 2 minutes, literally. Doesn't touch the puck, like I said. Wilson barely touches the puck in the slot. They have, like you said, the guy at the top with the big shot in John Carlson. Let it rip, buddy. Just let it rip. Like, why do we need to look for this perfect play that's not there? I
Not to toot my own horn, but way back when he signed that big contract, I said, all right, you know what, Johnny boy? Here's what you can do to make yourself worth that 8 million a year. Shoot the damn puck more. And maybe for the first 2 years of that contract, he did. But somewhere along the way, he decided, nah, I'm not going to do that anymore. And it's really it really pisses me off because it's such a waste.
like, what is he? Just looking it up here. What does he have right now? What does he got? He's got 2 goals.
He's got at least one. Let's see. In Oh, yes, he does have two for the year. So he's at 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points, -3. That's par for the course for him. In 12 games.
Yeah, to me, like, I don't know.
So I mean, okay, yeah, he's shooting, but guy with a shot like that, um, he recorded a 104 mile an hour shot in the All-Star game not too many years back. I'm sure it's still close to that. You got to use it. Chikrin uses it, but you figure two guys. That's one of the reasons why they went after Chikrin. Two guys from the point that have that. That's lethal. You can't block everything. I don't know if it's easy for somebody like me to spot something like that as something to try. I don't get why they don't just do it.
And they do have both of them out there on the power play together quite frequently.
They do.
Like there's enough people there to shoot. I'm not understanding why no one is shooting the puck. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. And that's kind of where I was going with that. Like, okay, he has two goals. Like I feel like with all the looks that you get on the power play, you should have more than that. Um at, I mean, to make up for the -3, like you said too. Like you got to bring that's always been the defense of John Carlson is that the
That's yeah, that
offense.
you come to expect that. You take that stuff with, love me, love my dog, and all that. You got to take that with the rest of the game. That's fine. I mean, we're used to it. But if he would shoot more, I think he would show more of his worth. And there's just, I don't know. The only way I can explain it is that, like you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of woe is me, head hanging, and oh, we're going to get booed, and oh, we're doomed to fail. And I don't know how they can change that, but they have to find it within and get out of that, get out of their own heads, and just take that chance. And you know, take that chance and just shoot more because they're pissing away each opportunity by playing that ridiculous two-man game and not shooting. I, I just, I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it, but it just builds the frustration. They allow that to take over, and it's something that's gotten into their heads, and it's so obvious. You can see it in their body language. Um, I had a thought last night in our Facebook chat room. If John Carlson is so afraid to shoot because he's so afraid to have it blocked and then turn it over and then give up a shorthanded chance, why not put him on the wing? What could it hurt? Um, okay, so maybe I sound like a bit like Dr. Frankenstein here, but again, do something, change something, try something different. For the love of God.
Yeah, I'd like to see them use Chikrin up top more for sure on that power play. Like it's I mean, for Carlson, like I said, like the offense, that's always been the defense of him, right? Is there
Right.
might be some defensive shortcomings. I don't think the defensive shortcomings are as bad as some people make them out to be, but certainly that's not his A game, is not his defensive game, right? His A game is his offense. And so for me, like the offense has got to outweigh anything that's happening defensively because that's always been the defense of him is that his offense outweighs whatever's happening on the defensive end. So to me, like if you're not going to bring any offense anymore, we're not in a good spot here. And for defensemen, especially, like a good place to get a lot of your offense is on the power play. And I've seen him shoot this season a couple times. He still has the big shot. It's still there. It's not gone with age here. So I don't get why he's not using it. I don't know. I thought he had a really good start to the season, and then he's kind of tailed off dramatically here. So yeah, I'd like to see him pick it up a lot. I know like Rasmus Sandin being out, that's hurting the back end. Obviously Dylan Strome being out for a few games there, that hurt the power play for sure. Like we got to mention that as well. I don't want to just shit all over them and not mention things that are contributing to it too. Because the power play, it actually was like it started the season horrendous and then it actually was kind of getting a little bit better slowly and steadily up until Strome got injured and then it just went in the fucking toilet. So and and now he comes back last night. Like I said, he scores right away at 5-on-5, which is great. But the power play still looked like garbage. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it gets any better here now with Dylan Strome being back. Hopefully they can work out some of the kinks. And they don't have a choice, man. Like they've got to fix this because it is, like I said, it's costing them standings points. Um, yeah, I don't know. We can get into the this isn't just a power play conversation, I don't think, but like, do we want to talk Alex Ovechkin a little bit?
Again, I'm going to leave that up to you. It's your show, but I think it bears worth mentioning because a good chunk of the fan base is starting to scream bloody murder about his playing time, and I think for the most part they're justified.
Yeah, I think like I said, on the like the people that are kind of screaming at him for the power play, like I said, I don't really get that because I haven't seen him touch the puck on the power play. But 5 on 5, I just like he's having such a slow start to the season. It's not just the lack of goals because he's had slow starts to seasons before goals wise, right? That happens. But to me, it's like he's taking way less shots, like way less shots. He's only shooting maybe twice a game, whereas historically that's been like three, four, 5 times a game at least. So yeah, his shots per game are way down. He's just not getting the looks that we're accustomed to seeing him get. Um, so it's concerning to me right now from a standpoint of I think this team still really needs him to be Alex Ovechkin at this point. They do have obviously like they have all these great young players coming up and they're starting to integrate some of them into the team now. They've got a bunch of them still coming up later from Hershey and elsewhere. So the future is really bright for this team, but right now in kind of the in between, I think that for this team to be successful right now this season, they still need Alex Ovechkin to be Alex Ovechkin. Um, that being said, whose fault is that though? I don't know because like to the point that you construct your team around needing a 40-year-old to score 40 to 50 goals. I know he's Alex Ovechkin and he scored 44 goals just last season in only 65 games. He's a freak, but I just don't know that like depending on that for your team's success is a wise thing. Um, and I'm also hesitant to like I'll be honest, like I'll say that he doesn't look very good, but I'm not gonna come on my show and shit on him for it too much because I understand that he's 40 years old. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I totally get that.
yeah,
Uh,
it's just, I see people like some of the comments from people are just wild, man, wild. Like, oh, he doesn't care. He's not even trying, blah, 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 blah.
Now yeah, that's not judgment of a hockey team. That's mental illness is what that is. Um, no, it's okay. So it is reasonable to expect more than what we've been seeing, I think. But like you said, yes, we have to temper that with the fact that A, he missed all of training camp pretty
That
much.
matters too. That matters.
B, he missed all of training camp because I think because of an injury that to this day is still nagging him. Um, C, the team dynamic is changing in front of him, and I think maybe overall that's kind of a big part of why we're not seeing the success we're used to because they haven't figured out who they are yet.
Mhm.
Are we the OV led team? Are we the transitioning team? Are we getting younger? Uh, they don't know who they are, and I think that's really when it comes down to it. That's the thing they have to figure out. Who the hell are we? Are we the guys that are going to outscore you 6-5, 7-4 every night, like they were back in the early Rock the Red era? Or are we going to play sensible hockey and score the timely goals, more like last year's team did? And I think they're kind of caught in the middle of that, and they can't quite figure out. And I hate to sound like a broken record, but that's maybe 25% of the players and 75% coaching.
Yeah.
You know, the coach has to put his stamp on that team to give them an identity. That's where that comes in. Because if they don't have that when they take the ice, how are they going to know how to handle the situations that come up in the game? And that's what I'm seeing. I think a lot of it is just not getting out of their own heads and just playing.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's I know we're 12 games in, so it's you know,
It's hard to say, oh, we're effed, we're doomed, we're screwed that early. You don't want to say it, and you really can't. But
I don't think that we are, to be clear. Like I don't think that they're screwed at all. I think they're like you said, they're trying to figure out what their identity is going to be. I have all the faith in the world in Spencer Carberry. Like I think he's phenomenal. So I do have faith that they'll figure this out and they'll figure out who they are. Um, would I like to see it happen quicker? Yes, of course. Because it's been painful to watch for the last 4 games or so. But then again, like the 4 games before that, they look great. So, it's up and down. It is early season, I guess is my point. We are 12 games in, which is, a decent sample size, but I think for the Caps, the sample size has been so up and down that you can't really make any like concrete judgments yet because they've looked great and then they've looked terrible. And the defense has been tremendous and then they've given up 7 to Ottawa. And it's so up and down. It's wild. And I think, yeah, the Ovechkin conversation is worth having. Um, I just my point, like I said, is just like I think people's like expectations for him to me are wild because he's 40 years old. Like to be out there on, Facebook pages and Reddit and elsewhere saying that this guy doesn't care and all that. He's the NHL's all-time leading goal scorer. He's going to score his 900th goal is his next goal. You don't get there without caring. You don't win a Stanley Cup without caring. Like he's 40 years old, people. You can't expect he's not going to score 50 goals a season forever. Like you have to, and I think that what you said is right. Like we're totally justified in expecting more than what we've gotten from him so far. He should have more than 2 goals through 12 games for sure. He's still good enough. He's still got a phenomenal shot. Like he should through 12 games he should have more than 2 goals. So we're right and we're justified in expecting more than that. But I think that there's a middle ground that a lot of people are missing that like you can expect more than 2 goals in 12 games, but you shouldn't be expecting 12 goals in 12 games type of thing, you know?
right, and I think you just mentioned something that well, really isn't helping things. He is one goal away from 900, and it don't matter who's calling the game. The second he takes the ice or touches the puck or gets a shot or goes on the power play, first words out of anybody's mouth, here comes 900. When's he going to get number 900? And as much as we didn't want to believe it last year, the goal chase turned out to be a really big uh, energy vampire. I can't think of any other phrase for it. Um, and it's threatening to be that again. Now, I'm hoping that once he does get 900, that's the last milestone
Yeah.
until maybe 1000. And I'm sorry, he's not going to get to 1000. I don't care if he plays till he's 50. That's just not realistic. But 900 is probably that last frontier. And I think once he crosses that, I think everybody's going to calm down a bit, hopefully, and realize. But also to your point, though, building around him when, you know, I don't know. But I'm also of the mindset that if you go out and get a top six scorer, what do you have to give up to get him? And how long you going to keep him? And how much do you want to pay for him? And that's a
I'm
whole
I'm
other.
I am not in the mind at all of trading any of our high-end prospects for
Me neither. I,
no.
I don't I don't have the stomach for that right now.
Oh
I,
no,
I would
no.
let him take a step backward for a season. I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
Rather than
they are cooking something really, really good with all of the prospects that that they're gathering here, and I do not want to see them trading them away for success this season for sure. Hard pass on that. Like that, just let it cook. You're gathering all these really, really, really talented prospects. You're going to have something really, really good going forward here for many, many years. Just let it be, let it cook, let the time come, be patient. I don't want to see them messing with that to go out and, like you said, acquire a top six winger to try and go beat Carolina in the second round this season. Don't want to see it. And even like it's way too early to even have that conversation because we don't even know what the team looks like by the trade deadline. Like people are already coming up with all these trade scenarios and stuff. And oh, what if you flip this prospect for that guy or this or that? It's like, do we know if we're going to be a contending team at the trade deadline or if we're going to be a bubble team? I can't tell right now. So I think that they're a contending team, but I don't think that they're like a Stanley Cup favorite, go trade all your best prospects for guys at the deadline type of team. I don't think that they're in that spot. I think that would be insane for them to do at this point. I think, like I said, they're building something really, really good here with all of these young players and prospects and just let it cook, let it be. And we'll look back on this in 5 years, 10 years, hopefully with another cup or two, and we'll be glad that we did not trade any of those guys. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. It's important what you said though about just the one more thing on Ovechkin because I wanted to mention that too, and you beat me to it. Was that people are also underestimating how important that actually is that he missed the entire training camp at 40 years old. And like you said, he missed it with a lower body injury, right? To me, it looks like his lower body is still injured. So the way that he's moving around out there, like his stride's not the same. Like it's not just that he looks slower, it's his stride looks a little messed up to me. So I do think he's still working through an injury. But yeah, regardless, I mean, you want more from him for sure. I had to come on and say, I just don't like the sentiment from some of the fans for the captain of your team that's been here for 21 years now, has brought you a Stanley Cup, the only Stanley Cup in franchise history, has made it so that the Washington Capitals are the owner of the NHL's all-time goals record. Like we've had all of these amazing memories with this guy. He's been nothing but consistent for 20 seasons now. This is the first season I think where you could say like, oh, this doesn't look very good. Maybe that one season under Dale Hunter, but that was that was a totally different story. I don't think that was entirely his fault, but yeah, I just don't like the sentiment from a lot of the fans right now. Like I'm of the mind that yes, I want more from him. Yes, I want to see, his skating improve throughout the season. Hopefully he can get himself healthy. Yes, I want to see more goals go in the back of the net. Yes, I think it's important for the team's success this season that more goals do start going in the back of the net for him. But I'm also not going to skewer a guy who's 40 years old for not winning the Rocket Richard. you know?
True enough. True enough.
So,
Um, and part of it is, he's not. Maybe he's not being set up to succeed. In the way Now that I think about it, yeah. Should he be spending 20 plus minutes out there on the ice, whether it's power play time or 5-on-5 or what have you? Um, I don't know. Maybe we've come to the point where he ought to be just for the majority of his ice time a power play specialist. That's something else that could change and or be tweaked. If he's working through something, I don't see why that can't be something. But maybe it's hard to say. Maybe he's like, well, give me all this playing time and then I'll work through it. Maybe that's the dynamic. But it's really hard to say. But um, if we're not going to get the production from him, then somebody else has to step up. Obviously. And whether it's Protus or McMichael or somebody, but we reached the point where we cannot depend on number 8 to fill the net as much anymore. And I think to a man, this team has to realize that. And as soon as they do, and the coaching staff starts putting them more of a plan of attack that is destined to succeed, I think once they get all that together, it'll all be figured out. It's it's just we're at the beginning of that process. That's what it makes it so damn frustrating.
Yeah, and I think like you said, like for a 40-year-old especially, like a lot of your goals and points are gonna have to come on the power play. That's where you're gonna get a lot of them. That's what we've seen from all these other Joe Pavelskis of the world and whatnot. So you need those points, you need that production on the power play to have the numbers that you want. And the Caps power play right now is just not doing anything. Like I said, Alex Ovechkin doesn't even touch the puck on the power play for the most part. So I have a hard time blaming the power play on him. And I think that if they could get the power play going and start getting him the puck in spots where he can actually get his shot off, then it's going to help his numbers a lot. Because yeah, you need those points on the power play to have the numbers overall that you want as a 40-year-old. And to your point, like everybody's up in arms about Ovechkin not scoring. Like I'm looking around and I'm saying, where's the production from a lot of these other guys though? Because that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like we're all yelling about a 40-year-old. Like Connor McMichael has 1 goal. Pierre-Luc Dubois, yes, he's been injured twice, but in the games he's played, he has 0 points. Like a lot of these guys that were getting a lot of production last season, it's just not been there. And I'm not saying that they're not playing well. Like Connor McMichael's had a ton of chances. Like he's generating a ton of scoring chances. He's like almost leading the league in 5-on-5 scoring chance generation. So like he's playing really well. They're just not going in for him yet. But yeah, I have a hard time, like I said, pointing the finger solely at a 40-year-old if we're not going to talk about the lack of goals and points for some of these other guys too. Like the puck all around has not been going in yet. But like I said, I went over the numbers with you. Like this is why I think fans need to just take a step back and just just take a like Vladdy in the Blue Jays game, just take a deep breath, right? Because I mean, for the most part, if you leave the power play out of it for a second and you just look at 5-on-5, they've been very, very good, like generating scoring chances. So I do think that the production and the goals are going to come at least at 5-on-5 for sure. Because yeah, like I said, I went over the numbers with you. Like they're top 3 in the league in expected goals for at 5-on-5, and they've been the third unluckiest team as far as like goals scored below expected and posts and crossbars. They're first in the league, all that. So all of these things are kind of trying to tell us not to panic, and yet people are going off the deep end already, which is fine. Fans can do what they want. But yeah, I think for everyone's mental health, it would benefit all of us to just kind of zoom out and take more of a wide view of this thing and just say, okay, they're generating the scoring chances. It's probably going to all be fine in the end.
I think so. And again, it's if you look at the grand scheme of things, yes, it will eventually work out. It's fortunately there's plenty of hockey left. I guess the thing to worry about, if there is something to worry about, is things getting worse. Um, and the only way that'll happen is if there's another major injury. Um, I don't see that happening. You hope that doesn't happen,
He's
but
not on.
yeah, it's it's always a possibility, but every team goes through its rough patches, and if they're lucky, this is their one extended rough patch this season. They're getting used to a compacted schedule. Uh, maybe that's just it. I'm optimistic. It's hard to hold on to that optimism with some of these games we're forced to watch, I admit, but in the end, I think it'll work out, and I don't think they're in any immediate danger of missing the playoffs. But that said, all the self awareness in the world isn't going to fix things. It's getting in there and actually doing it that'll take care of it.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's just one more thing that I wanted to touch on, but before I do, anything else that you want to get off your chest that you're concerned about?
Um, Not really, but and it hasn't been brought up in too many circles, but I'm starting to wonder whether or not we're going to fall back into that conversation of, well, how come the goalies aren't doing it more? Um, I'm not going to say who is. There's a certain major local blog. I won't name them, but I think we know who all know who they are. That has already brought up that conversation, and I think it's a little ridiculous.
Are you serious?
I will see if I can find the tweet and point it out. But there's a little tiny bit of finger pointing at Charlie Lindgren already, which is just absolute bullshit in my mind because I don't think he could do more. Is he letting in the odd goal that he probably should have? Yes, but what goalie doesn't? Well, for crying out loud, Igor Shesterkin makes what is it, 11 million a year, and how many nights does he give up for a game? Nobody yells at him.
A lot these days.
Yeah, so I don't want to I don't even want to hear that conversation at this point. And if I start to hear it, I will lose my shit. But I'm just saying I'm wondering whether or not that we're drifting towards that. But when your goalies are giving up for the most part three, not even three a game, what more can they possibly do? Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I don't know if you can see that or
Your number one
if
guy,
it's,
your
if it's
number one
mirrored or
guy
not. But
is
yeah,
is
Logan,
one
Logan,
151.
yeah, Logan Thompson. Logan Thompson, folks. Number two in the entire National Hockey League right now, 1.51 goals against per game. The only guy ahead of him is New York Rangers backup netminder Jonathan Quick, who has not played nearly as many games. So essentially, for all intents and purposes, Logan Thompson is the number one starter in the National Hockey League right now in goals against average, 1.51. Save percentage as well.
Same.
Logan Thompson, again, number two in the entire National Hockey League in save percentage, 935. Again, the only guy ahead of him is Rangers backup netminder Jonathan Quick. Hasn't played as many games. So are we are you serious? People are
I
complaining.
well, I mean, I know our fan base. Sooner or later, that's going to come up. But I just I
I
don't want to hear it at this point. I don't want to hear it, but I just know sooner or later it's going to come up.
yeah, I don't have patience for that.
I don't either. Not right now.
It's a non-starter for me if we're gonna talk about goaltending. Score some goals. There's an idea. Like
Yeah.
Logan Thompson, the three games that he has lost so far, I mentioned this in a couple of my post-game reaction videos. The three games that this guy has lost so far, he's given up two goals, one goal, and two goals. Those are the three games that he's lost.
And didn't he assist on one?
Yeah.
so
And
so he's part of your offense now.
he's got five wins. Like I understand maybe a little bit with Chucky that people are like he's not getting the wins, but and he of course like when you put his numbers next to Logan Thompson's, it looks bad for him. But
But I don't even want to hear that because they are hanging him out to dry.
yeah, 100%.
The
And
defense just is non-existent in front of him most games.
they're not even they're not helping him out at all. And the only thing I was going to say there was that like I also don't think it's necessarily an accurate representation to just put his numbers next to Logan Thompson's and be like, look, Charlie Lindgren's bad because Logan Thompson's been the best goalie. He's been the best starter in the National Hockey League this season. So, like, how much can you really hold him up to those standards as your backup netminder, you know? But yeah, I mean they're hanging him out to dry. Like the game against the Senators, holy cow. Like all of the guys after the game too, like all of the Cap skaters, like you could they were like they looked like they were almost in tears for what they did to Charlie Lindgren in that game. Like they felt so
They
bad.
ought to be.
Yeah, that, of course they ought to be, but I'm saying they knew it and everybody else knew it, so it's yeah, I mean there's only so much that you can do as a goaltender. Maybe he makes a few of those saves and we lose 5-1 instead of 7-1. Does that really matter?
Not really.
Doesn't really make a difference.
Not really.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna ask you which blog it was that said that because I think I already know, but
Oh, well, I'm finding the tweet now, and I'll send that to you later. But yeah, he even pointed out a particular statistic, and his point was, well, if he could just come up with one more save, and like you said, does it really matter in a 7-1 game if he does or not? But yeah, I'll get that. I'll message that to you later on because that just I don't know. It's like it's not like there's other things the team could be working on to improve and get wins, really.
Yeah, that rubs me the wrong way. And I'm usually the first person to like, it's funny because you would think that it would be the opposite because I'm a goaltender myself. You would think that like I would never want to blame the goalie, but I'm actually usually the first person to like point out when the goalie's not playing well because I'm like in tune with that and I see what's going on like in terms of like how they're just you don't just look at numbers, right? You look at like how they're moving, how they're tracking pucks, like are they giving out a bunch of big rebounds, stuff like that. So like I'm usually the first person to be on the goalie when the goalie's not playing well, but I do not think that that is the case with Charlie Lindgren. No way.
No, no.
Yeah, last thing I just wanted to, I know I've got to let you go because you've got your own show to do today, but last thing I just wanted to get your thoughts on was just quickly here, the coaches' challenges. What is
Oh my God.
what is going on here?
On last week's episode of mine, yeah, I took some time and did a nice little rant about it.
I know that's why I
I,
wanted to get your thoughts on.
I'll try not to take up too much of your time here, but um, it just doesn't look like we're going to get the calls, and it you don't want to give up, you don't want to just not do anything, but doing stuff like wasting your time out to give your video people extra time. Um, the one challenge, what was it? I forget the game. The one where there was literally no chance. I think it was the Ottawa game. It was the Ottawa game. Um, you're going to challenge one goal and you're going to end up losing by 7. Would it really have made much difference? And then he goes on to say afterwards, well, we weren't in a good place. I was going to try and do what I could to take the goal back, but I didn't want to see them fall 2-0. There was almost zero chance of getting it called back. Okay, why waste the time and effort? You not only killed your own team's momentum, you put them in a bad spot. That made me apoplectic. That probably would have, had I not calmed myself down somehow with an adult beverage at that point, I probably would have put myself in the hospital because I could not believe that he used that reasoning to put out a challenge. But going forward, unless both he and the video team are 110% sure that they are in the right, I don't think he should even waste his time because I can't even remember the last time it's gone right for the Caps
I can't
at
remember
this
the
point.
last time we won one, honestly. Honestly,
I
cannot
I can't.
cannot recall.
It's a momentum killer. It's a waste of time, and it would be better if he took some extra time before the next faceoff and said, "Okay, okay, boys, we got screwed. What are you going to do about it?"
And there's been two instances already this season where we have the coaches challenge, we lose the coaches challenge, we obviously get tagged with the delay of game penalty, then we get scored on the delay of game penalty. It happened in
Mm-hmm.
the game against the Vancouver Canucks, and then it happened again there in that game against the Ottawa Senators. So obviously the game against the Senators, it didn't end up mattering. It's a 7-1 game. The game against the Canucks, we lose by 1 goal.
Exactly.
So it mattered a lot in that one. And yeah, I believe the one in the Senators game, that one occurred when it was only 1-0, right?
Yes, it was the second goal in the game. So okay, I suppose I get his point of view, but he even admitted there was next to no chance of winning that challenge. The fact that he took his time out, and then of course he he knew he was going to lose the challenge. So that's what I objected to the most. You knowingly put your team in a bad spot. You didn't make things better. You made things worse. So I I really think they just ought to severely limit. I mean, they have to be, I mean, ironclad, hand on Bible sure that they're going to win the challenge before they even think of trying it.
I said that in one of my post-game reaction videos. I'm like, it's almost at the point where like you almost have to just not challenge anything because seriously, because even the ones that look like they should be black and white calls, they still don't go their way, Gil. So like I get what you're
It's
saying.
like the league. It's like the league is so afraid, even if it's this much in the favor of the Caps, they're so afraid of turning around the call to favor the wronged team that they won't do it. They're so in love with protecting their officials. Well, if you want to protect your officials, how about starting to discipline them for when they get the calls blatantly wrong? Uh, Ryan Leonard embellishment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was brutal. And the one that the most recent one, the offside one, it was offside.
It was offside.
It was clear. You could literally see.
I have a screenshot. I have a shot of a pic that somebody else took. The guy is two skates over the line. The puck is still not completely. That's the rule.
Yeah,
Puck must completely be over the line first.
yeah, it's not
That's
the
the
puck.
rule.
It's not the puck is on the blue line, so everything's all good. The
Right.
puck has to be over completely across the blue line. You can see the white ice in between the other guy's skate and the blue line already. He's in the zone. Both his feet are in the zone. There's white ice in between his back foot and the blue line already. He's in the zone. The puck is still on the blue line. It is so clearly offside, and they still don't get the call. So like that's what I'm saying. I get what you're saying, where you're like you should only challenge if it's like 100% it's gonna go your way. But that one is like it 100% should have gone your way, and it still didn't.
It still fit the letter of the law. It's just the league is still, and I hate to bring up another sore spot, but I think that's why the call went against the Blue Jays because it was too damn close. Even though it if you look at it from a certain angle, the
His
foot
foot is
wasn't
off the plate.
completely on the plate when he crossed and hit the plate. The runner crossed. So
Isaiah Kiner-Falefa's foot is on his toe is across the plate already, and Will Smith's foot is still in the air. People have
right,
still frames of this. And I said when it happened, because we could see on the Sportsnet feed because they zoomed it right in and they're like, oh, his foot's off the plate. This is gonna count. And I said to who I was watching the game with, I'm like, his foot is like Will Smith's foot is clearly off the plate. That is a run. The game is over. But I said, I'm like, there is zero chance before they even came back with the call. I was like, there is zero chance that they are going to give this run to us right now to take the World Series away from the Los Angeles Dodgers. Zero chance. I was like, there is absolutely no way that they are going to give us that run right now. We are going to extra innings. There's no way that they are going to call that correctly to take the World Series away from the Los Angeles Dodgers. No way, even though it would have been the correct call. And sure enough, they looked at it for not even 2 seconds, and they come back and they're like, "No, no, he's out. It's call's correct. He's out." And they were literally not on the phone for not even 2 seconds. So I don't know. That's another story. I can't.
that's a
But yeah, it kind of like just shows that like it crosses even like sports lines. Like you get these things in all different sports, and you can even get them in a situation like that where it's the bottom of the ninth inning in the World Series. One team appears to win the World Series, they don't call it, goes to extra innings, and the other team wins. Like that's like my nightmare scenario for something like that to happen to the Washington Capitals. Like I actually equated what happened to the Blue Jays in this series with what happened to the Calgary Flames in the Stanley Cup final when they were playing against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Calgary, obviously, they appeared fully to have won the Stanley Cup. They take that goal away from them, say it doesn't count, and then Tampa goes on to win that game and then win game seven. It's just, yeah, just the way that things can turn on some of these calls, and then you look back even years later, like that was in I think 2004 that Calgary Flames
2004. Yep.
Calgary Flames
The last one before the lost season.
Yeah, and people still talk about it. So I fear that those Blue Jays images are going to be stuck in my head forever, truly. Because the last like they've won a couple World Series already, 92 and 93, but I was like 1 year old. So I do not remember
Yeah.
at all. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying with the coaches' challenges. I'm just like, I don't know what scenario that the Caps can be in right now and look at it and say, oh, we should challenge this because it's 100% going to go our way. Because even the ones that are offside, they're not getting the calls. And the reporters actually, even after that game, one of the reporters even asked Spencer Carberry that question. Like, he he literally got asked after that game. He's like, "Do you guys, as a coaching staff, have to reconsider ever issuing any coach's challenge in any scenario?" Essentially, was what he was asked. And I'm like, that's so mind-blowingly bad that you would even have to get asked that we're even in this situation where it's this bad.
And yet here we are.
Yeah.
And, it's, I don't want to sound like I'm down on the coaching staff, but that's one example. We've discussed other things at length already that make me kind of wonder, how prepared were they for what was going to happen this season? I mean, I have no doubt they'll figure it out, but I don't know. I don't think anybody was expecting this stretch of bad games, but like I said, maybe it's, I guess the silver lining is, get all the bad stuff out of the way now,
Yeah.
is the good thing. So
Yeah, and they do
maybe
have
there's that.
like they do have easy things that they can point to and say like, like once they start winning games again, they can kind of just wash this one off as like, oh, we were missing like a few important players and yeah, we didn't play very well. Power play wasn't clicking, but nobody cares about that if you start winning games again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's easy
Yeah.
to brush it off as it was just a blip on the radar because we were missing some guys and the power play was, not scoring any goals and all of that. So yeah, 5-on-5 game is pretty good. Like they just got to start finishing. So I'm hopeful that they'll get to that point where the pucks start going in the net instead of off the iron because there's been a lot of pings so far, too many for my liking. So hopefully we'll get to a point where those start finding the back of the net. But yeah, their 5-on-5 games been pretty good. So that's what's making me hopeful. Any last thoughts before I let you go?
Um, Not really. Just thanks for bringing me on again. I hope together we uh, pardon me, got you out of your funk there. I think there are brighter days ahead for all involved. Every team hits their low point, and and in baseball, there's always next year, as they say. So everything evens out, and that just, I think this is just end up at the end of the day, it's going to be classic case of that. So you you don't want to worry too much, but you do, and then like you said, once you got some distance from it, you realize maybe there wasn't all that much to worry about, and I think that's what we're headed for.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like we all freak out every season at some point, and then it kind of comes back around most times where we look back and we're like, oh, it wasn't actually that serious. So hopefully this will be one of those cases. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on today. I really had a lot of fun. It was great to do this way rather than just talking by myself. Like I said, I honestly don't think I would have made it through like an hour or even a half-hour episode talking about a 4-game losing streak for the Caps after that World Series last night. I couldn't have done it. So thank you so much for coming on. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you as well? We didn't do that at the end here yet.
Always a pleasure. So, yeah, you can find us at pretty much everywhere, streaming platforms, traditional podcast platforms. We're the Power Play Point podcast. So just do, I guess, even a Google search on that. You'll find us, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the major distributors you can find us on. So just give us a listen, and if you love us, subscribe. Um, we're partners with a lot of the big podcasts, the Big Caps podcasts, this being one of them. So you can hear us collaborating a lot. So yeah, give us a listen, and hope you like us. And if you like, If you want to be, this is our wheelhouse. You want to be part of the discussion about Caps hockey, we invite you to come on. You can call in or join by computer link. Come on with us and talk to us and give us your take. It's as good as ours. So please, we want to hear from you.
Yeah, it's a really great show. I enjoy so much listening to you guys and what you is Anna coming back soon?
This is actually the one we're about to record. This is Anna's debut for this season.
Nice.
She's had some school mom duties, shall we say, or well, she's a band mom in addition to being a teacher. So yeah, she had a lot of that on her plate this first month. But yeah, she's coming on with us this week to give her take, and she's kind of had to bite her tongue before it, but because of it. So I'm sure it'll be very entertaining what comes out of her this week. So I highly recommend that.
I'm so excited that she's coming back when they've lost four in a row. That's great. Great for us who listen to the show because that should be very entertaining. No, I'm so excited she's coming back and yeah, although in her absence like Cheryl Ann and I don't want to say her name wrong, Ginny?
Ginny.
Yeah. Yeah, they did a really great job too. So great stuff over on the Powerplay Point podcast. Everybody make sure that you follow Gil over there as well. And yeah, thank you everyone so much for tuning in today, for listening to this whole show. It's been a lot of fun. We try to get through these rough stretches of the Capitals season as a family here and all support each other and just try to make it through until hopefully like Gil said, there are better days ahead. So yeah, thank you all so much for listening. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed recently to the podcast and to the YouTube channel. For anyone who doesn't know, if you're listening in audio, you can also find us if you want a video version of the podcast. So you can find that on YouTube. The YouTube channel is under the same name, Jenaya Talks Caps. And yeah, you can subscribe over there and you can get the podcast and video version over there. And then we do the post game reaction videos as well. So yeah, love to have you all along for this ride with us. Hopefully, like I said, things will turn around here, and we will be back next week to talk about it some more, hopefully with a few wins in the bank this time. So, Gil, thank you again so much for joining us today. And yeah, as always, let's go Caps.
Let's go, Caps.